Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Friday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from theuptrend.com. In the pre-market this morning, things are fairly mixed. Bank earnings are starting to come out. So far, the market's received them fairly positively. At the same time, we've got Boeing down sharply in the pre-market this morning, and that's putting pressure on some of the major indices. And then we're seeing overall weakness in the technology sector. Now, if you were with us yesterday, we were looking at a market that put in a lot of bearish reversals on Wednesday. Those signals stay in play until we close above Wednesday's high. And that's what we ended up doing on Thursday. Both the Dow and the S&P 500 traded up above the highs from Wednesday, so those bearish reversal signals have been wiped out. Now, the NASDAQ did not generate a bearish reversal signal on Wednesday and had a nice reversal on Thursday, up 1.96%. And the SOX index, no change in trend there. It was up 1.34% on the day, still trading and closing below the lower channel line, so no change there. On the TSX, we had an inside day on Thursday, so we were up just a little over 0.5% on the day, so no change in trend there. Now, we've been watching financials closely, and the XLF has been on a buy signal for a couple of weeks now. Coming into today's trading action, it is trading higher in the pre-market. So are the banks. So we may end up on Friday generating a buy signal for the bank ETF and for the regional bank ETF, as most banks are trading higher in the pre-market this morning. Now, we do have a lot of pre-market action in the banking sector this morning, and JP Morgan, which is on a sell signal at the moment, is going to pop higher. It looks like it's going to open up around 134, so that's a huge move for JP Morgan. Wells Fargo is already on a buy signal, trading higher in the pre-market, as is PNC. PNC is trading up right at the upper channel line, so may end the day on a buy signal. We'll just have to wait and see. And Citibank is coming out with earnings in just a couple of minutes, already on a buy signal. Looking at Canadian banks, the sector has been led higher by the Bank of Nova Scotia. And we've got TD, which was the bank we were most worried about with its large U.S. exposure. It's been on a buy signal for the last couple of weeks, not really moving too much higher, but should trade higher on Friday. Now, Boeing is a big story in the pre-market this morning. It came in today on a buy signal. Yesterday was an inside day, but trading sharply lower, down around the $200 level at the moment. So that's a huge sell-off, and about 100 points on the Dow. Looking at the VIX made a lower low yesterday, so on Friday we're looking for a close above $20.24. Coming down to the low that we saw back right at the end of January there, coming into February, you can see that low. When we made that low back then, that's about the time that the US dollar index started to turn around. That's when the S&P 500 peaked and the TSX started to put in a top. Took a few weeks to start to break down, but that's about the time that things started to change. So just keep an eye on that. Then we're looking at commodities, and we saw crude oil pull back slightly yesterday. It's still stuck to the 78.13 level, trying to get to 81.25 with a possible stop at the high from back in January. Then looking at natural gas, we're trying to hold 234. The pros look like they're starting to get interested in natural gas. At least they're not selling against it at the moment. We'll just have to wait and see over the next couple of weeks if the pros start to take an interest in natural gas. Looking at the Canadian energy sector, we closed higher on the day yesterday. We're trying to break out above 1563. If we can take out the high from last week, then 1602 comes into play. Looking at U.S. energy stocks, we're trying to break out above 8750. If we can do that, then 9063 comes into play, which is where we peaked back in February. Then looking at gold made a new high for this move, hit 2062.50. So congratulations if you had a sell order in to take some profits up there. And then silver continued to move higher. You can see we're at $25, and then we're starting to move up. If we look at the weekly chart, you can see that we hit $25. 28.12 is our next target to the upside, and that is certainly doable. That's where we got to back at the start of 2022. Looking at gold and silver stocks on the TSX Global Gold Index, we made a new high yesterday. We also made a new high for the GDX. Let's finish off with technology stocks and just a couple. Not a lot of action in the chip sector at the moment. So AMD still on a sell signal. Apple came back sharply yesterday. It is back on a buy signal, so I'm going to have to switch from being short to being long again on Friday. And Microsoft, no change in trend there. Traded down to the lower channel line for the past couple of days, but reversed and closed above it. And no joy for Shopify, still on a sell signal. That would change on Friday with a close above 63.12, and that's on the TSX. And last up, we're looking at Tesla. Tesla had an inside day on Thursday. We are looking for a close on Friday above $192.22. Okay, folks, that's all for this morning's presentation. Looks like we're going to get a mixed open on Friday. And the bank sector seems to have made its way through the first part of earnings season fairly well. So nobody's been overly concerned about what's been announced so far this morning. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. And next time you'll hear my voice is on Sunday.